hello, hello. Hi, 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 hi. Hope you're well. Hope you're swell. Hope you're able. Hope you're good. Hope you're amazing, 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 amazing. Hope you're nice, 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 nice. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. I was watching some videos about Argentina yesterday, so I thought I'd read a history lesson about Argentina. I was trying to find something inspiring. A lot of Argentinian history is like very political. I wasn't in the mood for something political. I just wanted something like inspiring, kind of adventurous and whatnot. So I was just like looking that up, and then I found something. It's a bit recent, relatively, 1972. Yeah, 1972 is when this occurred, but yeah, let's read. I don't know what we're getting into, but it's about some airplane flight that went wrong, but the guys managed to find a way to survive. So let's read it. The miracle of the Andes, when ordinary men did the impossible. Maybe I can do some here to here. On October 13, 1972, a Uruguayan Air Force plane carrying 45 people, a rugby team from Montevideo along with friends and family, was flying to Santiago, Chile for a match. They never made it. The plane hit turbulence as it approached the Andes Mountains. The pilot, disoriented in a blizzard, descended too early, and the plane slammed into a mountain peak. Yikes. The fuselage tore apart, the wings were ripped off, and the tail section vanished. Jeez. The wings were ripped off and the tail section vanished. Which part of the plane is the fuselage? I don't know. Should I Google that? Let's Google that real quick, because I'm trying to picture what the fuselage is. Internal. See if I'm not typing. Oh, well, you can't hear it because my keyboard sound's not on any. Which part of the plane is the fuselage? The fuselage is the main body of an aircraft, which houses the cockpit, passenger, cabin, and cargo. It's the central structural component that connects other parts of the plane, such as the wings and tail, and provides the necessary aerodynamics of flight. So it's the body. Okay. So the body was torn apart. It was a horrendous crash. This is like what you picture when you picture airplane crash. This is as bad as it gets. Wow. I think as bad as it gets is when it just explodes and there's nothing left. It's just blown to smithereens. There's no way to survive that. Of the 45 on board, 33 survived the crash. RIP to the 12 that didn't make it. But what they didn't know was that they were in one of the most remote, hostile environments on Earth, surrounded by nothing but snow and jagged peaks over 11,000 feet above sea level, with no way to communicate and almost almost no food. For the first few days, they were certain rescue would come. They huddled inside the broken fuselage for warmth, rationed chocolate bars, and melted snow for water. So they had chocolate bars, and they melted snow for water. Oof. But after a week, they heard the devastating news on a small radio they had scavenged from the wreckage. The search had been called off. The world had given them up for dead. That's horrifying. That moment broke many of them. One survivor later said, "We realized we were completely alone, not just on that mountain, but in the universe." In the universe. Over the next 2 months, they faced starvation, blizzards, avalanches, and the deaths of close friends. Food ran out quickly. They tried eating toothpaste, leather from seats. Huh? Leather from seats. Does leather have any nutritional value, especially after it's been treated for furniture? What would you get out of eating leather from the seats? Even strips of insulation. That's just so random. That's like, let me start eating my shoe. That's what it sounds like to me. It's like, I'm hungry, let me eat my shirt. It's like, nigga, what? Anyway. Finally, they made a collective decision that would horrify outsiders, but oh yeah, I know where this is going. I can already tell where this is going. Oof. Let's see. Okay, here's my guess. They're gonna start eating each other. Let's see what happens. They made a collective decision that would horrify outsiders, but made perfect sense in that frozen world. Okay, I was wrong. Slightly wrong. To survive, they would eat the bodies of those who had died. I thought they were gonna start. That would actually be crazy. Now that I think about it, my prediction was actually kind of insane. I thought they were gonna eat each other, but it's like, how would that work? How do you decide who gets eaten? That makes more sense. Eating the bodies of those who had died. Oof, that is rough. It was not a moment of barbarism, but of moral clarity. A recognition that life was sacred enough to justify the unthinkable. They prayed before doing it. They wept, and then they went on. One survivor, Roberto Canessa, later said, "Our friends were not in their bodies anymore. What we were taking was life, not death." That is rough. The group's survival wasn't luck. It was a product of leadership and adaptation. A few men rose to the challenge, most notably Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa, both in their early 20s. Parado had lost his mother and sister in the crash. That's sad. He spent days unconscious with a fractured skull. When he woke up, he found the world gone, but inside him, something had awakened. He later said, "I understood that waiting for rescue was another form of dying. If we were going to live, we would have to save ourselves." That realization changed everything. He and Canessa began preparing to cross the Andes on foot, a trek that even professional mountaineers would hesitate to attempt. I'm getting chills. In mid-December, after 61 days stranded, Parado and Canessa wrapped themselves in seat covers, stuffed their shoes with rags, and set off westward into a world of snow, ice, and silence. They carried little food, no maps, and no climbing gear. For 10 days, they walked through freezing winds and blinding white horizons. They slept side by side on the ice, whispering to keep each other awake so they wouldn't die of exposure. At one point, Canessa said he wanted to give up and let the mountain take him. Parado looked at him and said, "You can't die here, Roberto. We've come this far. We have to tell the world how hard we tried." My heart, man. This is making me emotional. That line, "We have to tell the world how hard we tried," became their engine. Why do I want to cry? Get it together. On the 10th day, half-starved and frostbitten, they finally spotted a river, and across it, a Chilean shepherd. That shepherd, astonished to see two ghost-like figures stumbling out of the mountains, rode to the nearest village to get help. Within days, helicopters arrived. Of the 45 who were taken off from Montevideo, 16 survived. That's so sad. People were just dying slowly. Ugh, and they were eating the bodies. Ugh. Oh, that's disgusting. The world was shocked when the survivors emerged, skeletal, sunburned, trembling, and yet radiant. When the truth about cannibalism came out, many expected outrage, but instead people were awestruck. Priests, doctors, and even the Pope defended their decision, saying what they did was not desecration but courage. What you're supposed to do? I mean, it's disgusting, but I get it. It's so gross, but I get it. I just don't want to be the one that has to cut the bodies up and cook them and whatnot. Ugh. Do you even cook them? Like, how are you going to cook them? I feel like you just have to eat them like that. Isn't that dangerous though? How can't you get sick? I don't know. I don't want to know the intricacies of cannibalism. When Nando Parado was asked later how he had found the strength to do what he did, he said something unforgettable. I didn't climb a mountain to save myself. I climbed it to save my friends. What a G. Oh, man. So what this story teaches us about the human spirit. Hope isn't optimism, it's action. The survivors didn't survive because they believed everything would be okay. They survived because they acted as if it could be, even when logic said otherwise. Yeah, despair can be transformed. When you hit rock bottom, sometimes the way out isn't upwards, but forward. They didn't wait for the sun. They walked towards it. Yeah, leadership is born from pain. Parado didn't seek leadership. It was forced upon him by tragedy. True leaders often emerge from people who never wanted the role, but who can't bear to let others die. Meaning is a survival tool. They lived because they found purpose to tell the story, to reach their families, to give loss a reason. So the broader lesson, the Andes survivors show that human beings are capable of far more endurance than we imagine, but only when we shift from why me to what now. When every comfort is stripped away, what remains isn't weakness, it's clarity. And in that clarity, even ordinary people can do extraordinary things. The final words in Nando Parado's memoir sum it up beautifully. I learned that death is not the end. There's only life and the will to keep it burning. Deep. That was good. I hate this light, bro. See this thing? It's so childish. I couldn't be bothered to get it removed. What were the previous owners of this house doing, bro? Like, to get that removed, you have to get up there and dismantle the whole thing and then replace it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll just keep it, I guess. But it's very annoying. Anyway, that was intense. That was an intense story, but inspiring. I'm glad about 16 of them survived. Ugh. We really be flying in airplanes, bro. Like, I mean, airplane crashes are rare, but they're not. Like, you have to pray before each flight that things go well, because yeah, you don't want to be stranded and then eating your homies. That is unfortunate. But yeah, Argentina is a beautiful country. Oh my gosh, I was watching this video yesterday. There's this guy, he has a channel. The channel is called Live Like a King. And it's basically a series where he shows what it's like to live like affluently in different countries around the world. So he just goes around different countries and shows you what it's like living there. So he's done like countries in Asia, countries in like Eastern Europe, like places that people don't typically think of. Like places that you just wouldn't think of. He goes there and he's like, let me show you what it's like to live well here. Because we have our preconceived notions about the world and whatnot, but there are actually a lot of nice places, like very underrated, but actually very safe, very clean, very advanced, all these sort of things, and you can live a good life. And a lot of countries are building their cities. So you might have a country that might have some areas that are not so great, but they have great cities like Colombia, for example. It's like when you think of Colombia, maybe you might have like these ideas of like Pablo Escobar and whatnot, but that was a long time ago. And it's actually been making some significant strides since then. And Bogota, Colombia is doing pretty well. There's another part of Colombia, I don't know. Let me Google cities in Colombia because I want to get it right. Cities in Colombia. Medellin. They say Medellin. I've heard them say Medellin. I don't know if it's Medellin. I don't know. Bogota, Medellin, Cartagena. Those are the main ones that I've heard about, especially that I've been seeing in the videos. Bogota's pretty cool. Anyway, so he just goes around showcasing different cities around the world. So the most recent one was Buenos Aires in Argentina, and it was a pretty cool video. Well, I don't think I'm done. It's like 40 something minutes. I think I'm like 30 something minutes in, so I think I still have to finish that. I think I'll like make some oats and finish that video. It'll be a fun time. But oh my god, so every video, right? So he has this theme with all these videos. It's like kind of like James Bond-ish. Like you play like this James Bond music a lot of the time. Like you rent out like a fancy car to drive him around the city. He's always wearing a suit, and he always gets like a gorgeous woman to accompany him as he's like exploring the city and showing you the different like attractions. Like very like luxury things you can do. It's not all like super luxury. A lot of it is luxury, but like a lot of it is also just things that local people do. But it's like some really like niche coffee shop or like tea experience, dining experience, so on and so forth. It's things that regular people can do, but it's still like very nice and unique to that place. Because for him, he said like living like a king is like, it's not just like spending money on expensive stuff, but just having the best that that place has to offer, whether it's expensive or it's cheap, but it's like authentic and really enjoyable. So it's like a nice mixture of both things. It's not just like things that only rich people can do, but just like things that the locals do as well, that are just authentic to that place. Anyway, so he always gets like a really pretty girl from that place to accompany him on his expose. So the girl he got for this Argentina video, Smoke Show, they're all pretty. They're all pretty. I like this one though. This one in particular is nice. I'm trying to think. I need to go back and watch like the other videos and then like try to pick my favorite one. My favorite girl of the ones that he's I'm pretty sure he's married, by the way. Because he gets it's entertainment, he's acting, it's like it's a production. He puts on a good show. So like they'll do this thing where they're pretending like they're kind of dating, like on a date, sort of, kind of. But it's just for the production. But I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, well, you're a married man. I'm trying to imagine what his wife thinks if she's like watching the videos. Because you get all flirty. It's subtle. It's not. I don't think he goes too far. I guess too far is subjective, though. I don't know what counts as too far. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I love the videos. They're so fun to watch. So informative. I love learning about these different cities around the world. And it's just nice, you know. I think the world is changing, and it's like, you know, like cities are becoming these hubs that attract people from all around the globe, right? So every country has its like city. I think it's so important for countries to really invest in developing their cities, because that kind of affects the rest of the country. If you have a strong city, the rest of the country will benefit from that. So it's so good when you like really build up your cities to attract foreign investment, foreign talent, all these other things. So a lot of cities are becoming very global, just attracting people from all around the world. Think about cities like Dubai. Dubai is not a country; it's a city. Abu Dhabi, Toronto, LA. Even though LA, I mean, LA is still, still quite popular. Paris, Milan in Italy, you know, Tokyo. You go on and on and on. Cape Town in South Africa. Yeah, it's so important to develop your cities, man. And it's just exciting to see how many cities are actually developing all around the world. So I just love watching these videos and just seeing different cities and like what's going on. And they're all very different from each other. I can't wait for the opportunity to travel just to see these things. But anyway, yeah. Shout out Argentina. I heard the food there is amazing. I heard they got great beef. Great music. Like, just a great experience. I think the music is like very like jazz inspired, contemporary jazz, classic jazz, all that stuff. So I think it'd be great to go to like a bar, listen to some jazz, have dinner, drinks, that sort of stuff. That'd be cool. That'd be a fun experience. I'm not much of like a party guy, so for me like a good night out is something more laid back, where you can have like good conversations over like subtle music. The music isn't loud where you can't hear the other person. Yeah, you can get dressed, you can look nice, just have a decent night out, go on a walk afterwards. That's my kind of speed. I'm not super into the high octane, super like, high energy outings. Yeah, it's not for me. I would love to DJ at some point though. That would be cool. But DJing, not that good at it. I still need to learn. I don't know that much. But that's the only exception. Like that's when you'd find me in those environments. If like I'm DJing, so that'd be so fun. I think DJs are like the coolest people on earth, and I really respect the skill as well. It's like proper DJs are actually mixing everything themselves, and I'm not English. Respect, and they have like a good set too, good song selection. Respect. So I'd love to learn how to do that. I know a little. I went through like a little phase. I was DJing and stuff. And, well, learning to DJ. I tried to DJ at my own events, and I did okay. It was okay, but nothing to write home about. So if I could get better at that, I'd love to DJ a couple parties and do like house music, rap music. Yeah, maybe like electronic music, dance music, and like hip hop. That would be me, and like some R&B maybe. I can see myself doing like an R&B night, playing classics. I'm not the biggest fan of like the modern R&B music. I think I'd be like more like 90s, early 2000s R&B, 90s, 80s, early 2000s. Maybe like some soul music from like the 70s. But anyway, yeah. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. You know, I like to pray that no my videos so different about anything for some visual watching, but I think making holy and can guide them upon towards peace, prosperity, and purpose. Thank you for blessing this person, wonderful people in life, love them, take care of them, bring us and bless them, and thank you for letting them over there do the same thing. Thank you for blessing this person with love and marriage and sustaining that love and marriage and making very, very happy. Thank you for blessing this person with a spirit of gratitude so they can give thanks for all the wonderful things in life and making with thanks like to find peace, contentment, and attract even more blessings. Let your presence be flooded in this person's last year, knowledge of God, that you will let you live, marriage will be there for them. Good health, long life, and happiness over this person. Care about your mind and pray. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen.